Let me be very clear. VA disability is not insurance. It's not welfare. It is not a government handout. It's compensation. And if no one's ever explained that to you properly, that ends today. Did you know that the VA operates on an honor system where all you have to do is tell them that you're disabled and the money will start flowing? Well, if not, you should talk to Matt Walsh, conservative influencer, the guy who made that quote. Now, not only is Matt Walsh full of shit and incapable of doing the most basic modicum of research, but what he has brought up is an even bigger issue, right? We're gonna be talking about why there's a massive misconception around what VA disability really is, the effects of this misconception on the veteran community and society at large, and what VA disability really is, and what your next step should be to get the rating you deserve. So with that in mind, let's talk about why there's a misconception here. And in my opinion, it's really just the name alone. It's taken in a very literal sense. In America, we have Social Security disability, we have other kinds of state disability, and what that typically means is that someone is getting compensation because they're unable to work or take care of themselves, right? When it comes to the VA, that is not the case. There's no statement of saying a veteran cannot work because they have a disability rating, or where work is even a consideration. Now, economic impact and economic instability can affect your ratings, but in general, even if that changes, that's not going to get the rating decreased. So, what is society conceiving? Well, they're conceiving that a veteran who has a rating, if they have a 60% rating, they're capable of doing 40% as much work as a non-disabled person. That is not the math that goes into factor here, and as you know, if you've been through the VA process, when the VA does math to factor out a veteran's disability rating, they're looking at the whole body as an equation. It is not to say you cannot work, it is to say what parts of your body are injured, causing you chronic pain, limiting your ability to enjoy activities of daily life, like playing with your kids, playing with your dog, sleeping through a night, any number of things. Now, the VA does consider economic instability, because it can be hard to work if you've lost both your hands, one of your hands, if you've got seizures from TBIs, if you've got any number of things that can happen to you in service or because of something that did occur in service, that is where economic instability comes into play. But it is not a measure of whether you can work in the future, work now, or what kind of job you can do, or, to Matt Walsh, your intellectual capabilities. Now, what makes Matt Walsh's statements even more painful is that he wasn't just talking about some normal veteran. He was talking about a veteran who is a 100% disabled veteran running for Congress. Now, the fact that Matt thinks he's the arbiter of who deserves what in life is just beyond me. But furthermore, the fact that he is on a veteran running for Congress, someone who was wounded in service, injured in service, now wants to serve their country more as a congressman, absolutely wild to me. Not all injuries are visible. It's that simple. Now, Matt doesn't know what it's like to watch his best friend get shot, to have to kill somebody else in combat, to watch a vehicle full of people that he was eating breakfast with this morning get blown up right in front of him. Matt could never understand such a thing because he never served his country. But this congressman, who is a veteran of the Iraq War, probably a good chance he does. I don't know him personally, so I don't know. You can't judge a book by its cover, and you can't say someone's not disabled just because they don't have some crazy visible misfiguration going on with them. It's absolutely wild, insensitive, and just honestly dangerous rhetoric for Matt to be spewing this stuff. And this is where the effects of this misconception come into place. It's not cheating. This is you getting what you're owed from the government. They signed the contract, you signed the contract, damage was done to your body in service, and here we are. They owe you for it. That's not humility, that's programming. And it's keeping you stuck. Look, the system isn't about how bad you are, it's about what happened. You served, the job did damage, that's it. Same way a factory worker gets compensation if they get hurt on the job. You just worked for the government instead. And now the government owes you compensation, not because they feel bad, because they're liable. You can still work, you can still lift, still be strong, definitely still lead, and still deserve a rating. That matches what the service did to your body and mind. The idea that you have to be falling apart or jobless to qualify, that's VA mythology. You can be functioning and in pain. You can be high performing and carrying trauma. Let's think about NFL players. They get hit by dudes the size of Honda Civics. You think they're not feeling that the next day when they go through? They're still high performing athletes. It all counts. It's all real. And by the way, you filing doesn't take away from anybody else. That is a damn lie. To make this click, I was talking to a veteran just the other day. And this is one of the most common stories that we see and what we're trying to prevent by making these videos. He got his job working for the railroad shortly after he got out of the Army. He worked there for 20 plus years. 20 years of thinking that the pain he was going through, the mental trauma, the invisible wounds and the visible ones, the way they affected his body, the way they limited him in his promotion pathways on the railroad, the things that it cost him, he just assumed that he couldn't get them service connected, or that he didn't deserve them because someone else out there had it worse. You know, in his head, he's like, I'm not an amputee, I didn't get shot. Why do I deserve this? In reality, what happened was he went 20 years without getting the pay that he was deserved. 20 years without the VA medical insurance and the coverage. Any ER visit could have been covered. Medications covered. Property taxes, potential for exemption. But no, all these things he took on his own when he didn't have to. And finally, he went to vetclaims.ai and we were able to help him get the rating that he deserved. But those 20 years of pay, he'll never get it back. He thought he was doing the right thing by staying silent, when in reality, he wasn't supporting his family the way that he could have been. He wasn't getting the help for his wounds and being the husband, the father, present that he could have been. All these things because he thought he was being noble, when in reality, he was robbing himself. Luckily now he's got the rating he deserves, but you don't have to go through the same. Now you have to understand, the government took a lease out on your body, and yes, you signed the papers, but part of those papers was them promising to take care of you on the back end. And that care, it comes in the form of this workers' compensation, currently called VA disability. That is how the system is supposed to work. It's not stealing. It's not cheating. It's fixing your own foundation so that you can actually move forward. If you don't file, if you keep saying, I'll just suck it up, you're not being noble, you're being invisible. And the system loves that. So how do you break out of this? It's getting to your base zero. And what do I mean by that? I mean that every veteran has to fight 3 demons at minimum before they can actually get to a zero-place starting point. What are those 3 demons? Health, wealth, and tribe. They have to understand how to take care of themselves. The military, it tells you that the mission comes first, and you taking care of yourself, well, it's not really that much of a priority aside from doing PT. And as we all know, that leads to half the injuries. Then when we go on and we talk about wealth, right? Most veterans, they enter the service coming from an economically underprivileged place. They also don't get financial education in the public school system, and Lord knows that the military is not doing it for you either. So you have to figure out what your path to wealth, stability is. Doesn't mean being a billionaire, it means figuring out how to not go bankrupt. And then, tribe. Tribe is critical. You're gonna miss the relationships that you had in the military, but they're irreplaceable. And unless you know the person to your left and right won't leave you behind, you're not gonna get that same kind of camaraderie, you're not gonna get the same thing. So you have to surround yourself with people who are part of your tribe, part of what you're trying to do with your life. People who have been through what you've been through perhaps, and more importantly, people who are going where you wanna go. So, is this fixing your own foundation? Is it getting what you're owed? Yes. And this is all so that you can actually move forward and live the life that you wanna live.